Welcome to episode 99 and a half of the Startup Show. Today we are here at the municipality of Zurich, and I'm very excited to meet with the Mayor of Zurich, Corine Mauch. Welcome to the Startup Show.
Welcome to Zurich.
Welcome back to episode 99 and a half of the Startup Show. This is very exciting. We are almost finishing up series 1 of the Startup Show, and today we have a special kind of episode before we finish up with episode 100 with the Mayor of Zurich. And I'm very excited to welcome you on my channel, Corine. Please, for the people who are, let's say, abroad of Zurich and of Switzerland, maybe please give a quick introduction about who you are.
Hi folks, I am Corine Mauch. I am the Mayor of the City of Zurich since 2009. And in this function as a mayor, I am also responsible for economic promotion of our city and, of course, in this context, also responsible for our startup scene.
Key audience of what I see are students, and what you usually hear a lot is students are politically not as involved as it used to be. Maybe you can elaborate what made you decide that politics is, let's say, the right path for you when you decided your career?
I was interested in politics since I was a kid. I was always following the politics. My mother already was a politician. Time by time, I found out that I'm so much interested in politics that I would like to give up my job, because as a mayor, you give up your job. I have studied at the ETH in Zurich and then really enter a 100% or I must say 200% into politics.
Was there some kind of let's say key event that you would say that made me decide this is my passion, or that's what I want to do for the next few years?
No, I don't think there was a key event. It was simply realizing over time that it became more and more important to me.
Upcoming year, 2018, new elections are coming up. For me, what's interesting is to hear about, let's say, what happened over the last few years while you were the mayor for the startup scene, and what can you do for, let's say, in the next couple of years to make Zurich really attractive for startups to come here, found their company, build their companies, and maybe even have rep offices from international companies.
Yes, well, Zurich has a very lively and a very vibrant startup scene, factors which are very important for forming this environment which is attractive, this biotope, if you want to say that way, for startups. First of all, I would mention the universities we have. We have the ETH, very well-renowned high school internationally, one of the best high schools in the technical domain. We have the university, we have a high school of arts. We have these formation institutions, educational institutions, which are very important and which guarantee that there is always a qualified people being able to work in this technical, but also other domains. Most of the startups we have in Zurich are founded by spin-offs of the ETH or by graduates of the University of Zurich. And what is also very important, because it is important for companies like Google, who is very present in Zurich, which has its research center of Europe established in Zurich, which has grown very much in the past years. And for example, Disney Lab research is that they have the qualified people they need for their work, and they find these qualified people in Zurich thanks to our universities mainly.
Is there also, let's say, if you look at, say, the bureaucratic aspect of a startup, is there something that you would say, we are working or currently offering something to startups that make it easy for them to be in Zurich and make it attractive for them? I'm asking because, there's a couple of things that I hear when I speak to startups is, for example, visa issues, double taxation. Is there anything that is going on in that aspect of the startup from the municipality side?
You were talking about the framework conditions for the startups, which is a very important issue. I would start with another aspect, and that is the one of space, of rooms, of offices, of ateliers. Zurich is a place where people like to be very much, so the soil prices are rising. And what we are doing, we are offering spaces, we are offering rooms where startups can found, where they can interact, We have, for example, this Impact Hub, which is a private initiative, which is a very lively place for startups. We have Impact Hub, we have this program, Kickstart Accelerator, which is promoted by the Digital Switzerland Initiative, also an initiative based on private companies, large, internationally active private companies, was founded in Zurich. We have the Blue Lion Incubator, so we offer a lot of services and offers to the startups. What you were mentioning, the framework conditions such as permits for employees from abroad or taxation issues is, unfortunately, I must say, is not on our city level to be decided, but it is mostly on the level of the canton. And we are in contact with the canton, who is also interested in ameliorating the context situation and the framework conditions for startups. So we have had some progress in this field in the past years.
Yes, you mentioned the Impact Hub. Let's say when we look at, a lot of cities like now talk about, let's say, smart cities. Is there something that you would say Zurich is going in a direction where we will see, let's say, all kinds of smart technologies that will, let's say, enable, number one, but also support, let's say, the citizens in their daily lives in Zurich?
Well, digitization and smart city is a big, big issue these days. We just had this digital day in Switzerland where there were a lot of activities, and also the Federal Council, 3 members of the Federal Council were engaged in this digitization day. And the City of Zurich itself is working on a smart city strategy. Of course, it's not us fulfilling this, but we are forming the framework, the conditions, and hope to form and are really looking for forming good conditions for all these different initiatives, ideas, endeavors which are undertaken from the private side, from students, from high schools, from universities, and to give them a context, an entire context, a roof, so to say, with our smart city strategy. And the aim of our strategy, we are the City of Zurich. We are not here for ourselves, but we are here for the people who live here and the people who work here, and for the companies working in Zurich. So what we want to offer, of course, is how can they get more efficient? How can life be more easy for the people? How can they, for example, have better access to certain services we offer to the citizens and to the companies? This is the aim, to make life and work more easy for people.
Are there maybe some concrete example that you can already say, like, well, this is what we can expect in the let's say next 12 to 36 months of, let's say, innovation that we will see within the city where we might be leading?
I will mention one example, only one example, because there are so many of them. What we have already done in the past is a thing, we call it e-marriage. You're here to get married in the city house, but many people from Zurich, we have people from over 170 nations living in Zurich, that maybe they have relatives which are far away in another country, and they would like to join this marriage ceremony, and maybe they don't have the money to come here, or they don't have the time to come here, so they can join in by Skype in this marrying ceremony. So this is only one example of what we did with the city. Another example is next year we will start that you can, with your cell phone, you will be able to pay to park your car when you have to pay.
So
this
coming.
is just one example, but there are many things underway.
Before we met here, I posted to my Facebook profile, I asked my audience what they would like to know from you. One of the questions that came in from a friend of mine was about digitalization at school, and they feel a lack of, let's say, moving forward, or a lack of funding coming into, let's say, the digital world of school. And they feel through that they have to send, let's say, to private school or international school within Zurich. So what's your take on the digitalization in the education and schools in Zurich?
It is also in this field of education and of schooling, it is a very big issue, and we are making steps forward. I think it's next year that we will have a big step again, where it is really an issue. Digitization, smart thinking, smart living, smart solutions, which are an issue also in the school classes. So of course, I mean, this is a future generation, and they are so into it with their cell phones they all have. So we have to go with them, and we have to also, let's say, guide them, because I think it's very important talking about digitization. It's not only an issue of technology. It is very strongly, and in our smart city strategy, we really focus on that. It is very strongly a focus also on how do we live together, how is our daily life, how do we interact. Personally, I'm convinced that people have to, and especially younger people who are really into all this, they have to learn new competencies. How do I deal with all these possibilities that I have, so that I am still being the one mastering the technology and not the technology mastering me? I think this is very important.
So before we go a little bit on the outlook of what's coming, let's say, after the election in 2018, someone asked me online, and I'm not sure if you have an answer for this, is there someone, let's say, within the municipality they can, like the startups can reach out to in case they need some assistance, let's say, working with the municipality, but also in terms of, let's say, when they want to ask questions about, let's say, founding here in Zurich?
Yes, they do. And this is our point of economic promotion, which is a part in my department. It is Benno Seiler.
Okay, so we'll plug it
Benno
in.
Seiler, contact Benno Seiler, and he will help you.
Okay,
if
that's
you have
great.
Some need.
That's great. Very good. So let's have a little bit of an outlook into the future. When you talk about startups and innovation, we always look to Silicon Valley, Tel Aviv. Where do you want, or maybe even Berlin, how do you see, let's say, Zurich in 2025? Which I know 2025 is the number that everybody talks about. So I hope to hear some insights into how do you see Zurich will be different or change in the next few years?
Well, first of all, Zurich will be even bigger than it is now. Zurich is a strongly growing city at the moment. It is the economic center. It will still be very important for all the region of Zurich, and I think for all Switzerland. It will be very important still as an economic center. What is really changing is the business models. For what I observe also in this Digital Switzerland initiative is that the big international active companies, they gathered together in this initiative because they say, we are really eager for all these ideas, these innovation ideas, which are relevant for our business models of the future. And we acknowledge that in our large traditional company, we are maybe not in the state, it's not possible to innovate and to do all this in our company. So that's why we are really eager to get to know all these small startups, all these people with their ideas, and to interact with them and to find the ones who have the idea which is important for our company and to buy these ideas from other people. So I think this sort of networking business model, working on platforms, will be more and more important in the future.
Right. So just to wrap up, one last question. If you have to, let's say, give one sentence about why startups should be coming to Zurich, maybe
Zurich
directly into the
is a great city, has a great quality of living, and forms perfect conditions for startups, a very lively, a very vibrant startup scene here. So get your guide went to Berlin and now came back to Zurich. Come to Zurich.
Good. Corine, thank you very much for taking the time to be here. Thank you very much, everybody who tuned in today. Be aware that episode 100 is something very special that we prepared for you, so make sure to tune in next week. And thank you very much for being on the show 99.5. And by the way, also our first politician on the show. This is also exciting. So thank you very much for staying all the way till the end. And I wish you a great day and all the best.